Hi Ruby, I'm Cordi, formerly known as Tyre of Singapore. I had to go in proving myself in an industry that I didn't understand. I didn't have a driving license. I didn't know anything about cars. Even though Pitstop was great, it also held like a lot of unhappy memories. I mean, there were cases of like stalking, harassment as well.
Maybe we can move a bit into what you're doing with Petani.
In an age where AI has made building cheap, what is the next mode? The mode is attention. The mode is trust, is distribution. My thesis is that attention is going to become the new currency of AI, which is why I'm doing Petani.
Hi there. I'm so glad you found this podcast. If you'd like to support us to help others flourish and have fun with AI, please consider subscribing, giving us a like, review, or comment on wherever you listen to your podcast, as that helps us keep the show running. Now we hope you enjoy this episode. Hi everyone, welcome to the Code Riff podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Yao Hong.
And we have a very special guest. Cordi, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for the invite.
We are very happy that we can do this in person. Cordi from Petani AI has kindly opened up this very wonderful space with her videographer, Chef, under the table. Chef, you want to say hi?
Just wave.
He's doing the leopard crawl. He's busy.
But yeah, very excited to do this in person. I think how we're going to do today's podcast is around, firstly, on how you transform your family business. The second part is on the stuff that you kind of built as well with AI. And then the third is around Petani AI, your next journey. You're someone that has done marketing and growth pretty well, I think. You turned your family business previously, a tyre shop.
Yep, tyre shop.
From like 400K in debt into like a multi-million-dollar business. So I think that's how a lot of people know you. That's how you've been portrayed. But given now you're also starting Petani AI, how do you normally kind of introduce yourself, or like what makes you wake up? What makes you excited these days? You know.
Hi Ruby, I'm Cordi, formerly known as Tyre of Singapore. Right? It really happened like as a joke, right? It's like TikTok, they have like the description bar. I literally just was Tyre. I mean, not Tyre auntie, right? So Tyre lah, right? Then I put it there. And that name stuck. So then, so that's where the nickname came from.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what like a lot of people know me as. But so it's quite funny. So I had this comment on TikTok like recently. Somebody said, "Oh, we know that we can trust you with tires, but now you're in AI. How can we know that we can trust you in AI?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, so my backstory is quite different, right? Like people didn't realize that I was in tech before. So I had quit my like job in tech to come into the family business. So that was like venture capital, accelerators, incubators. That was actually what I really enjoyed and I really liked. So like I enjoyed being in startup land. And I guess that was where I was previously. And now that I'm taking a break from Pitstop, I'm like, okay, I should go and do something that I enjoy now, right? And I think because of the way that Pitstop was at that time, I didn't really get to enjoy the process of building that company. It was really more of like desperation, like, bro, I can't eat, like kind of thing, right? So like it was desperation. So now that I get to build Petani AI, it's like, the whole startup game again. It's like, how do you build something out of nothing? Doing the content that I so enjoy, right? I really enjoy making the content, but I don't enjoy it when I'm like, okay, I really need to make content because rent is due tomorrow. So I guess that's like a quick intro about me.
Yeah.
And what keeps me motivated, I actually think it's a very toxic trait of mine, which is quite common of many Singaporeans, is that feeling of just like not doing good enough, or like not doing enough, or feeling like you're in a little bit of like a rat race situation.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change that mindset. I'm trying to like wake up and be like, oh, today is a good day. I'm inspired. Rather than like okay, today I have these things to do. So I'm trying to like change that mindset a little bit. I think being in a struggling SME for many, many years has made that kind of mindset a bit hard to change, but I'm working on it. Yeah.
I think instead of starting at AI, we're going to start at growth, because that's really kind of what you're known for. The headline is basically how this girl took over her family business. Used TikTok, got millions of views, and then transformed the business, right? But can you walk us through kind of the in-between of that as well? Maybe after that, we'll go into a bit more like marketing tactics, just for people who are, building their own AI companies, or they're building their own companies, or leading their own businesses.
Okay, I think probably I'll take it from a very like growth kind of standpoint. 'Cause I think everyone has heard like the
Yeah.
backstory
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
right? So I'll talk about it from a very like growth hacking, growth
Yeah.
marketing point of view.
Yes, please.
So when actually this is the first time I'm seeing it from a growth lens also.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll
It
try to
is.
like
It's very
frame it
much.
nicely.
Yeah.
But okay, so basically, I mean, because I was in accelerator VCs before, so it was literally
Yeah.
my job to help like pre-seed or seed companies grow faster, right?
Yeah.
Which is how I got into the idea of the concept of growth hacking, right? So how do you hack growth with like a minimum like amount of resources,
Yeah.
especially as like an early stage.
What do you
startup.
have on your hand? Like
What?
a phone, just a phone, or like?
Yeah, literally a phone, like literally
No
a phone
spreadsheets,
and
no tracking of numbers.
nothing,
All
no,
vibes only.
all vibes only. No, like all desperation only, right? Okay,
Desperation only.
Yeah,
Different.
Okay, so the
I
back,
think the lens in pre-seed A, Series A very different from struggling SME.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
because
I mean, at least they're
you're-
funded, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have money to burn when you're pre-seed or Series A. When you're SME, when your bills are rental is coming up,
Yeah.
your workers need to get paid. Then the story gets a bit different, lah. You know,
Yeah.
I guess you got not so much budget.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you translate that? I guess.
The question is more like SMEs just have a very low margin of error. So if you make a mistake, it can be over for you. So in a like startup kind of format, I was like, okay, we should go like growth hacking because like, you know, we need to like accelerate growth really quickly. A lot of the strategies actually failed when I first started. So I came into SME, right? Thinking like, oh my God, I should like digitize everything, like SaaS products are the thing. Cause like, I think that was like back in 2021, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, these will like help you like with your workflows and everything. And I was like, you know, I'll try. And then when I tried to digitize it from that standpoint to be like, okay, how do I improve operational efficiency to make this company better? I didn't see it from like a super growth standpoint at the start. I was like, how do I make things better first? I realized it was very difficult because everything that they were doing, they've been doing for like a decade, like 10 years, right? And it was like basically getting like dinosaurs to move, and it's just not feasible. So I spent like the first 2 months just like hitting the wall on like trying to improve the processes while also struggling with like business side of things. And I guess people, because they're so used to seeing me on camera, right? They're like, oh, Cordi must have been like, always had been like, okay, like with camera kind of thing. I was like, no, I'm an introvert. I like literally do not like being on camera, right? And I was actually not super, super keen on TikTok at the start. At that time, I think 2020, 2021, the platform had just launched. So it wasn't something that people see as a very solid marketing channel. Yeah. And it was just very unproven, I think, at that time. And my friend, it was one of my friends who came down to my shop and he was like, Cordi, why don't you just try? Like, you know, just try it. Like, anyways, no harm trying, man. And I was like, okay, I can see like kind of like the value of like this, right? Content, I don't know, but yeah, we gotta do some sort of marketing that doesn't involve so many ad dollars, right? So I tried. And I tried it before my friend spoke to me. I think I tried it for many months with no results. So like my videos I'll post, right, I get 20 views. I'll get like 80
Okay, sounds like a
views.
podcast.
Yeah, we're there right
No
now.
lah. I mean, when you first start, it's always like that. It's always like
it's
that.
always a cold start problem.
Yeah. So people don't realize like how painful the cold start problem is until when they actually like go through it, right? So it was really, really terrible and you feel really demoralized. So what I did was I posted for like 8 months with no traction whatsoever. I just kept going at it. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not a marketer by training. I'm not a business student. I'm not anything, right? It's just like what I can do with whatever resource, with the phone that I have, I will just do it. And after I had that meetup with my friend and he held the camera for me and he filmed me doing that like first video. I don't even remember. It was like I think it was like a how to check your tires kind of video.
Yeah.
And that video I think blew up overnight. So that was my first like 20K video.
But
That was like-
what was the key difference?
The key difference was I realized
Someone help you to hold a camera.
no, I mean, no, I also have my Taobao tripod, but like, but I think the key difference was that suddenly I was providing value in my content.
Value.
'Cause
Okay.
I never realized that
What was the content before that then?
it was all about like, oh, what I was doing in the shop, like, you know, like videos of
Day-
me like
day-
behind
day of
day
my
in the
life.
life. I think pre-TikTok, pre-super viral short form, right? YouTube was all about, oh, this is my travel vlog.
Yeah.
Follow me with like, I think that was the format. And that was what I was trying also. You know, I was just following everybody else. And I didn't really have like my own flavor or like my own voice at that time. I mean, people now know like, okay, this is how she usually talks. Like,
Yeah.
I had no identity essentially. And then when I did this video and I like taught people like how to like check your tires, like how do you know you have to change your tires? Then I think that's where I realized like, oh, if I teach people things, like if they see value in my content, then they'll watch it. Then I was like, oh, then I think like from then something like clicked. And I, from that video, realized how much content can actually make a real impact on business. Because, you know, from coming, like being from like just no inquiries to suddenly like on that day itself, you get 100 inquiries.
Wow, okay.
You're like, what the hell? Like, you're just, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed, right? Because not
Yeah.
only was I doing like operations and customer service and actually doing the thing and like, so I was completely overwhelmed. But I mean, it's a good problem I have, right? Too much business is always better than no business.
Yes and no lah. I
so-
mean, if you cannot handle the
But we
volume,
couldn't handle.
yeah.
So we had very big operational issues
lor,
after that. So on the growth journey, the issue was that now we have a lot of business. I literally have one mechanic. What am I gonna do? So there were a lot of people who were very supportive. Thankfully, a lot of the customer supporters were very supportive. Some of them waited like 4 hours to get their tires changed. Like, I'm not even kidding. And they were okay. And they didn't leave us 1-star reviews.
Oh.
So I was very grateful because they were there with a heart of like, I've seen this girl online and I think I want to support what she's doing. I know she's struggling, so let me just help. So I think that was I felt very supported at the very, very start when things were still not so stable in terms of, we still had a lot of debt like to pay, right? So I couldn't, even though business came in, I had to take all that money that came in to pay off all the previous debt. So you couldn't invest it into anything basically, right? And it took us, that stunted our growth for a very, very long time, which is why I feel like running Pitstop took me 4.5 years, almost 5 years. We had a lot of shackles, I think, on us, which really stunted that growth journey. Because honestly, if we could have that level of business and scale it immediately, I think it would have changed a lot of things. But there's no choice when you're in SME and your funding options are also limited. But yeah, so I started really with just TikTok.
Yeah.
And the viral media just got me featured by National Youth Council. Because at that time, I think government had this thing where they wanted more people to look at blue collar work. So like they were
Occupations.
yeah, they were like featuring like, you know, like fishmongers or like hawker centers or like myself, like tire workshop. So I was very lucky to be on that trend at that time.
Yeah.
And like National Youth Council wanted to feature, and from National Youth Council, so they told me they had like a very large budget to like push my video, and I was like,
Hey,
wow.
free marketing.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is better than the marketing agency. Wow, thank you, right? So I was very appreciative of that. I think that NYC one was the one that kicked off a lot of the rest of the features. And then it started going like a bit more mainstream, like, you know, newspaper, radio, that kind of thing. And that's what really accelerated our reputation. Yeah, so reputation helps a lot. So my I would say in a sense it's really like a thesis, but marketing comes into like two things. It's basically attention and trust, right? So if you're able to get like top of funnel, like a lot of attention, it doesn't matter if you don't have trust. So if I post like meme videos every day, I'll get lots of attention, but nothing would convert, no one would follow you, right? So if you can get that level of attention, and then through that, like people watch your videos, they actually trust you. That's when you have influence to actually convert certain decisions. So attention itself is usually actually not enough. So if you're able to do both of that, and being on the newspaper, being on the radio, and like talking about my story really helped both of that, which is why I think I was so successful in being able to convert people into like customers. Yeah, and I think people also emphasize like, you know, like this is like really like a Singaporean business, like struggling, you know, I want to see, I want to like help out. I think that's also that. So that really helped at the start. However, like, you know, stories always like run out of novelty, right? I mean, like you beat the same horse like 10 million times, right? And people get bored of the story. So you cannot use the same story to go viral all the time. It only has like effect like the first few times, then people just get sick of it. And in fact, I mean, this is where I started getting hate comments, right? Because people kept seeing the same like story over and over
What kind of
again.
comments were they leaving?
So something like she's totally just faking it for the views, or like it's
Faking
not
what?
as faking like the difficult backstory.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, so like
Haters lah. There's always haters around.
yeah, so like you, because like they see the same story over and over again, right? And they're just like, I'm so bored of this. Like, and then I assume, because
Yeah.
I don't know, I've never left hate comments before, but yeah, so like then you start getting hate comments about like just all sorts of things, right? So from things like, oh, it's just a fake story to get more views. This is a manufactured story by the PAP from from people,
Oh,
right?
wow, okay.
And
That,
then
those
like,
kind, yeah.
and then like you slowly get stuff that's a bit more like personal, like she's so ugly, or like like her hair is so messy all the time. Like just like as you
I
get
mean, you
more
work in a
attention.
tire shop. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I can't like they're like I had
like,
comments.
a hair dryer coming.
Yeah, so at one point I think I had comments. People were like, "You should just wear less." I was like, "Huh?"
Wear less? Gosh.
Like no, because like have this
Too very
impression
hot
of
like
like
that.
girls. No, like girls in tire shop should be like a bit more sexy.
Oh,
my
vibes.
goodness,
Yeah,
that's
like so like when you get more attention, you also get more like unwanted attention. And then like yeah, so
not
like
positive ones,
you had to kind of change like the story a little bit. Don't like use just the story to get like views, right? So you actually have to provide value to people.
Yeah.
So that's when the organic really like works, because like what I said, so at first you have the story and then all the newspapers like push you and push you and push you. But how do you sustain that level of attention and how do you maintain that level of trust is by constantly outputting content that people like are invested in and they want to hear about, right? So there's that. And then
But how do you figure out what people want to hear about?
by just trying, bro.
Just,
Like,
just try everything.
just
everything
whack.
just
Just
post.
like
Got views, then okay, I'll
correct.
post more of this.
So
Okay.
if you got views, then you post more of that. Not so many views, then stop that kind of content.
No, that's really vibes only.
It's vibe only. Okay, so like it was okay. So this video did like 10K, and then like that video did 20K. Okay, we follow the 20K format, then we do again. And then at that time, I had this like shitty like iPhone, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something like that. And then I would film because like I didn't know how to film properly and like angles and so I had no idea, right? So it would just be on my Taobao tripod, right? Then the phone, and then I'll be like doing something on the car, right? And then I'll film for 30 minutes, only to realize after I finished filming and doing the entire thing, my phone overheated and got none of the
Oh
content.
my gosh.
So I have to do it again.
And no budget to get new
No
phone.
budget to get
Yeah.
new phone, no budget to do anything, right?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, so the starting days were like tough, bro.
Yeah.
But okay, so what happened after that, right? So when you get through, okay, so you get the big reputation,
Yeah.
then you try to like maintain that organic thing. But what you realize after a while when you're posting content yourself is that you have a bit of key man risk, right? So the moment that you are the face of the company, the moment you stop posting, you have a problem. But it's
Yeah.
like, I'm a one-man team, so I run like HR, operations, customer service. I run everything, right? And I actually even have to be in the workshop as a part mechanic as well.
Oh, wow.
So the problem that I had was I couldn't push out organic content as much as I liked because I wasn't able to serve the customers on the ground properly if I were doing that. My issue was not about that the content wasn't bringing enough like revenue. It was actually bringing in quite a lot of revenue. The issue was that my cost structure was bad.
Cost structure of the business.
Yes, because as a tire shop, it scales with the number of mechanics you have.
Number of people. Yeah.
Right, so the more business I had, I had to hire more people.
Right.
Meaning that now that when I have a team of 6 mechanics, I cannot have a month where I have no business.
Yeah.
And like content is up and down, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, correct.
So I had to make sure that I had like a baseline level every single month, no matter what. And that's when I started looking at ads. So it was more like a costing. So if I was able to keep my team like lean and my operations small, it wouldn't have been an issue. And I guess that was one of the big mistakes that I made with the business, being like a literal first-time entrepreneur in that sense, right? That was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I should have counted the unit economics rather than trying to keep fulfilling all these business things. Like I should have just kept the team lean and looked at, how do you say it? Like looked at targeting more high value business rather than feeling busy all the time with like 20 small jobs. I should have just focused on 3 big jobs. So I think
But I think it's a
that
very
was-
common thing for
because
for
like
small businesses. Yeah.
I think being Asian, maybe, right? It's like when you feel that you're busy, you feel that you're productive.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And you're like, wow, I have so much business now, I have like 20 cars coming.
I cannot sleep anymore.
Yeah, like you're like, wow, like everything's going great, but like I feel terrible, but like it's great, right?
Yeah.
But then I realized after a while, like when I really looked at the number, I was like, what are we doing? Like I should have just done like 3 brake changes instead of like 20 tires. Right? And
That was 3 years into
but that was like it's way too late.
way too
already.
late. I don't know. Like how would you approach this differently
think it
next
was-
time? Yeah. Or if you see someone in the same shoes.
I think it's really to get a mentor. I think having a mentor would have helped a lot because
Right.
I wasn't a subject domain expert. Like I
But your
hadn't-
dad in the business?
So that's a bit of the touchy
Yeah.
thing. So my dad was the one that kind of didn't teach me anything in a lot of things. He taught me a lot of things, but he disappointed me in a lot of ways as well. Right. So basically there were a few things that we agreed and disagreed on, like just family things, right? But I think that I really needed more hand holding at the start.
He just threw you
And
into the
I
deep
think he
end.
just threw me into the thing. And because his reputation in the industry was quite terrible, so nobody liked him, right? Because he owed a lot of people money. Nobody was willing to help either. So I had to go in proving myself in an industry that I didn't understand. I didn't have a driving license. I didn't know anything about cars. I only kind of knew because his domain expertise was tires. And we had to expand into workshop because that's where the margins really were. So that wasn't really his domain of expertise either. And for me to figure out, okay, which supplier is the best, which job is the best, I had to actually learn myself what are the quirks of every single car brand and car model. Let's say, what's the difference between changing a set of brake pads for a Mercedes S-Class versus a Mercedes A-Class? Or like, which car has air suspension? So if I change coilovers, it would take me 6 hours versus 4 hours. Like, I had to learn all of that. And that was actually the time where I was like, oh, now I see what's actually profitable. So I think that's the thing that you really cannot, there's no shortcut to that. I think there's no shortcut to that. And that was difficult. So I think a mentor would have really helped.
In a domain expertise
In
that
a
you were
domain
in.
expertise, literally just cut to the chase and be like, Cordi, why are you changing 20 car
You
tires?
should look at this, look at that.
You should have looked at this or looked at that. I think
Yeah.
rather than having to really learn it myself from the
Yeah.
point of view of a mechanic,
Yeah.
actually, right? So that was,
Because actually you were quite overwhelmed, you know. You had to
I was
do-
overwhelmed.
Probably dealing with HR issues, people not showing at work,
Yes, all the time,
throwing,
MC.
throwing
My
attitude.
turnover was okay. I didn't really have turnover.
Turnover was okay, yeah.
Yeah, so my team.
But
I
because
think-
it's so lean, and so people can't really afford to forsake. Right?
yeah. So then I would have to fill in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got to change tires. Also.
Yeah, but I guess in that sense, even though that kind of stunted our growth per se, I was able to become a domain expertise because of that.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a circular thing,
Yeah,
right?
you,
So
you
I
learn through that.
I learned through
yeah.
that. I show content that
Correct.
people would have never been able to see. Like
Correct.
I think the difference between my content and a lot of people who tried.
So I think maybe just to summarize, that was really thanks for sharing that. You started with an attention funnel like TikTok, then you of course made mistakes along the way, went into the press for a good amount of time as well, and then of course managing so much like politics and family stuff in between. Just wanted to close off the funnel there, SEO and even AEO. Do you want to touch a bit about how you ended up getting placed in like all the Google searches or AI searches?
To
Okay,
SEO part,
okay. Sure.
So what do you learn in the SEO journey?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, SEO at that time was really just like ranking on websites,
Yeah.
right? And I really tried my best, like before the age of AI to do that. So I really went on like the backlinks, the like keywords, the blogs. I really went on like hard on that. And it didn't work out because I had no budget, right? So all my competitors in the space, they spend maybe 20K, 30K on like just an agency to help them do that. And I was like literally like me and one intern trying to like figure out like, okay, how do we beat these like really rich companies? So that was that. And we spent so much time and resources with not much. Like we failed, right, the first time. We didn't get any output out of that. I was still on like maybe I was from page 16 become page 7 lah, huh? But
No one's gonna go past
not
page
much
one.
difference lah. Nobody's gonna get there lah, huh? Then I discovered, I think like right at the end, I discovered like end of last year, start of this year, I discovered Claude, right? And I was like, it was probably from somebody's Insta post where they were like, oh my god, Claude can do so many things for you, like you should, like you're behind. I'm like, okay, I'm behind, let me try. Right. Then I was like, oh my gosh, like literally it's like having a consultant in your pocket, right? And I mean, I think AEO, GEO, those terms did not even exist at that time. I think it was very early into like the AI search kind of things. And people only recently started transitioning from search in Google to search on ChatGPT. So now it's become like where should I go eat? And you literally go and ask ChatGPT like best place in whatever, right? So that was a very recent thing. And I was like, I think this is where the game is going. Because I mean, everybody use ChatGPT to say like, today, how long should I cook my like eggs or whatever? You know, people do that.
Yeah.
Really, your friends do that.
Even though it sucks
I
at
do
cooking.
that. Okay, it's like, how long do I need to cook the
Like,
chicken?
go get a hard-boiled egg or
yeah,
something
like
like that.
what
Okay.
degree or like whatever. Lah.
Okay.
So then I realized, okay, this is going to be a very big shift in the way that people search things. And I was like, how do I get on this trend? Like, this is definitely the new trend, but how do I get onto it? At that time, I didn't have an answer because I think AI was still very, very early. And there was no way for you to know how to be in that, right? Until like I started continue watching all those like TikTok gurus and Instagram gurus, like my whole feed is like full of them, right? And I mean, some of them is noise, but some of them have really good stuff. Then I realized when so the game changer was when cowork was released. So that's when I was like, wow, we can do research, you can do like, and everything, you can do really in-depth stuff without me like really prompting it so many times. Because I mean, the issue with ChatGPT is literally you say something and then it gives you an output like 1 minute, it goes back and forth, but there isn't really like a very in-depth kind of thing until cowork was launched. And then cowork was launched and I was like, you know, if I make all this like drafting and stuff, cowork, I mean, Claude can tell me how crappy my website basically is. It really is quite crappy, right? Like all my meta text, everything, no idea how to do it. Claude taught me how to do it. I did that. And then Claude was the one that gave me the idea. Was like, you need to be writing blog posts to establish yourself as a thought leader in the space, blah,
But
blah,
actually,
blah.
that's a SEO 101.
Yeah, it's SEO 101, but it was
You
done
didn't
in
have
a
the
way that was
power and energy or resources to do it, actually, right?
correct. Because like at one shot, so I still remember cowork said, you should be doing this. Let me identify. So let me do a research and identify what the market gaps of information are in your entire industry. I will give you 10 topics and then I will write the brief for all of them.
Wow.
So
Okay.
like cowork did that in like all of 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like that would have took me like forever and never because I wouldn't have had the time to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it took out all like the briefs and then I looked at it and I was like, okay, so what could be interesting here? And I saw a trend at that time. Everybody's buying a BYD now. Like, okay, so everybody has a BYD, top selling car, everything, right? So how do I capitalize on the BYD market, like in particular?
Very smart.
And I was like, okay, so we do a BYD article on like the tire size of BYD Atto 3. Because that's like the most common BYD car at that time. I mean, now I think it's like C or C line. But at that time it was Atto 3. And it basically said, okay, so you write the content in this way to be able to get picked up by GO. And then it said, okay, so the key insight here, right, is not to post a draft that's written directly by cowork. Because what some people do is that they automate like the entire thing, right? So they're like, oh, guilty, yeah. But like
Yes,
basically,
judge. Actually, not really. The editing process is actually the key
Correct.
differentiator. Yeah.
the editing process is actually the key differentiator. Because I mean, this is what like a big topic, like AI slop, right? So people just keep like churning the same things over and over again.
Correct.
But the actual value, right, is for AI to identify the gaps for you, for it to like write a brief for you, but the key insights should be from your side, yourself, because you are the subject matter expertise. I mean, like expert, like, right? Then what happened was that it drafted that first draft, and it was kind of crap actually at first. It literally what I told you was, okay, so BYD Atto 3 based on the BYD official website should have this, and then a very very general piece on electric cars should use electric tires because that's what the manufacturer says.
Great.
Right? So it gave you a very long logical piece. So it looks logical, right?
Yeah.
So like the bad and good thing about AI is that it will always look logical.
It sounds logical,
like
yeah.
it's like it convinces you by sounding really like smart. But when you actually like dive into the meat of it, right? It's like 5 sentences saying the same thing but also nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So using that, but the good thing is that you use that as a frame, then you insert your key points, right? So I started inserting like, okay, what I knew about the BYD Atto 3 that was not online. I knew that they had changed the tire size. Depending on the batch that you bought of Atto 3, the tire size would have been different. It would have been a different model. It would have been a different price point. And I added that in, and that's context that the AI would have never had because nobody publishes that data, right? So if you can get to a context or a level of knowledge where you know that nobody else in the world has that knowledge, or if they even have that knowledge, they've never published it before, you automatically win. Because the AI will now see, wow, hey, this data, right, is
New
different
data,
from
yeah.
everybody else. And it sounds legitimate. So that's how I got like, even, okay, so my win and my failure, right, was that my win was that I was able to get all of like ChatGPT, Gemini, Google, I think also Claude. When you search like what tires to change for BYD Atto 3, right, the citations are all me.
Wow.
Yeah, so citations are all
Because
me.
you were the only one actually.
I was the only one
Yeah.
posting around that, right? So citations were all me. But the issue was, right, I didn't optimize enough because if you type where to change BYD Atto 3 tires, I wasn't listed at all. So like, okay, so it will give you all the names of my competitors, like 10 names of my competitors.
But you're
And then
not
when they
there.
say why at the bottom, then I'm cited. Then I'm like, bro, so you use my information, but you don't actually think that I'm the place to go and change, man.
okay.
Yeah, I see it right now.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah.
bro, you know what I mean? Like, I clearly you think that I'm the subject matter expert,
Yeah.
but why you don't tell people come my shop?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do
so
you
like,
How do you overcome that?
do you manage to?
I didn't overcome that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Still
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
figure
yeah,
out.
So it's really
So-
picking the best
Yeah.
source for the best piece of information
It's just
that
keep
you're
trying.
looking for.
It's just
Yeah, but I
keep
think
trying.
that
Yeah.
the risk now is that everyone
Yeah.
can also kind of copy what you have already,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they can also start ranking on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a cat and mouse game lah. Actually, it's pretty tiring.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
like,
is.
like this whole thing. Because for me, it's like I always see what competitor doing, I also copy. Right, I add my spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but the key is how do you then rise above all this, right?
You need some sort of radical innovation for people to take note of you.
Or it's a meme.
Actually, or Xiaomei. But Xiaomei vibes
No,
did not
did not
work
last very
out.
long.
It didn't last
Yeah.
very long. And the people who did it after did not really get the kind of returns I think they were looking at. Because the thing about it is that even though people can copy you, they might not have the grit or consistency to continue.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's actually sometimes the people that win are not the smartest people. The people that win are just the people that try.
Most stubborn people.
More stubborn. Yeah, they're like,
Will
oh,
not give up one.
大故事.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's to tell Eric lah, just to encourage him to keep pushing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, it's really like the
Because
people.
sometimes
Yeah.
you at first it's fun, right? After
Yeah.
the 10th post and you go like, oh, nobody see this. I'm like, oh,
Like,
so
why am I
boring.
doing
Why
this?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's
Yeah.
watching me anyway, kind of
Yeah,
vibes,
but
right?
I guess it's normal lah. It's a
Yeah.
normal process. Yeah.
It's just you continue doing it and that consistency will get you somewhere. But I mean, but you must be very clear about like you can
Yeah.
be consistent, but you cannot be keep like doing the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing
of course,
over and
of
over
course,
again.
of
Like,
course.
you must
Yeah.
improve
Try
lah,
new
right?
things, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like the grit, the consistency, and a little bit of creativity. So like it was me just trying out all different things and seeing what sticked, and then like we just continue from there, right? So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means you also have to try a lot, right? Be
have to
willing
try
to
a lot.
experiment.
Yeah,
and-
Yeah, you have to fail a lot if you try a lot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which I guess in our education system or our system don't teaches us not to experiment so much, right?
Yeah.
Like a bit more risk averse.
Yeah. I think there's a big problem.
Yeah.
Because people are so worried about failure.
What if I look so stupid in front of people on the camera?
Yeah. Like, what if I look stupid and then they never try? And then in the end, sorry to say, really become stupid lah, because you never try lah, right? Like, sometimes I feel like a lot of Singaporeans, myself included, we kind of trap ourselves into mediocrity. Because like, we trap ourselves, right? Because we are just like, oh, what if I try like with my full effort and I fail?
Yep.
Then wouldn't that mean that I'm a failure? And then in the end, people just don't try, or like they half-ass it. And then when they half-ass it and treat it as a side project, then when like, it doesn't really work out, they're just like, oh, it's just a side project. Like, it's like not a thing.
Yeah.
But like, I think really, if you can just go all in on it, like just say like, okay, you know, it's gonna be an experiment. I really try. If I fail, never mind. But let me really wholeheartedly try for 3 months. And if it doesn't work out, it's better than you trying one whole year half-assedly, and then like nothing comes out of it. Like, why do that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are scared to fail. And I think something maybe you can talk a bit more is like, do you ever feel like an imposter, right, during this process? Like you say you commit to it, but like, how do you kind of overcome self-doubt, like imposter syndrome, if any at all?
I don't think it ever goes away.
I think it goes away. So like, I realized, okay, so like, I suppose some people see me as quite successful in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I've actually never felt that way. I've never felt like I'm a particularly successful or particularly smart person or anything like that. Because I feel like there's so many people smarter than me. I mean, you just go on the news, you look at like other people, right? And they're like, they're doing really good things and really cool things and they're super successful, right? So who am I? Like, I feel like my achievements are like nothing compared to these people. And that kind of like seeps into the way that you think about yourself and sometimes the decisions that you make, that you limit yourself to the opportunity. So now that I'm in the AI space, right?
Yeah.
Everybody sounds like a genius. Like when
Exactly.
I speak to them, right? I'm like, wow, I'm stupid. I must be stupid. Like I'm missing something, right? So I felt really stupid, like traditional business, not even like tech. I disappeared into traditional business for 5 years. Now I'm back in tech.
Yeah.
I feel like the most stupid person in the room. And I honestly felt like my opinions just don't matter because I'm the imposter there. Like, out of all these smart people, why am I even here? These are all the CS engineering graduates. I'm this like random linguistic student with a tire shop. Like, why am I here, right? Then what I realized was that actually that limited my behavior because I started becoming more like introverted at events because I felt like I didn't have the right to speak up. And then I slowly realized as I continue like attending more things, is that everybody also doesn't know what they're doing. They're just trying, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing was that I went for an event on Sunday sponsored by Notion.
Yeah.
And it was a yoga session.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
What?
It was like Notion yoga, right? And we
Yeah.
went for that. And what we like when you're in a setting where you're not really like networking and trying to like get leads, right? Then you really think about like, oh, these people like could be my friends, right? And then you start talking to them and you realize that everybody's concerns are the same. Oh, I'm so left behind. It's not even a matter of catching up anymore. It's basically how far left behind are you, right? And then you realize as you talk to more people, everybody feels like an imposter. And it's just you trying to get over that mental block of actually I'm not as bad as I think I am. As long as I try, I think I'll get somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I still struggle with it a lot, right? Some days I'm just like, oh, am I really even the right person to be doing this? Like, there's so many people who are like better than me. But I'm just like, I guess I'll try, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize that a lot of people also think the same way. And if you let your imposter syndrome consume you, you will just sit there and do nothing because you won't be able to do anything about it. But if you continue pushing at it, then you can just slowly learn. And then you can also uplift other people who felt like they were being left behind. And when you form a group of people who are like, we all feel left behind, but let's figure it out together, you don't feel stupid alone. Then you realize that everyone else is feeling stupid and you can get smarter together. Yeah, so then I thought that was like a pretty cool concept. I think people are just scared of AI sometimes. It's not about the thing that is actually difficult, but you're just a bit like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's a bit scary, it's a bit much.
I think what we are really curious about, so because I think for me, I'm like more of a vibe coder. I develop things for myself and for my work. Yeah, Hong, you've done things in a bigger company, right?
So I come from a startup background, finance, fintech,
So,
right? Not crypto.
so I think what we're very curious about is Cordi builds.
So maybe
yeah.
good segue to like
yeah.
maybe share some stuff about things that you have built before
Yeah.
and to show people it's not so scary. Even I can do it. Right?
Yeah. You might not have to do screen share, I think, because of time as well.
Because
Like
of
just
time,
maybe
just describe.
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe you can walk us through like some of the things you tried to build, and then of course I'm sure there were some that worked out and are still working now, and then some that also you might have dropped because it might not have been worth it or whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. The sneaky fact of why I started Cordi Builds was because I was like, okay, so government is looking at AI. If I post
Yeah.
about AI as an SME, will I get a government grant? I'll try. See whether I can get anybody's radar, right?
Yeah.
So that was the initial thoughts of like why I started posting on LinkedIn. But of course, like there were a lot of practical uses of it also. Like I wasn't building for the sake of putting on LinkedIn, right? Just
Yeah.
that I was building it anyway. But I was thinking about integrated inventory system at that time. And why I wanted to do that was because we were literally very traditional. WhatsApp every single day. We have a list of 200 tires that we minus and plus just on the WhatsApp. And that was like terrible. Like just scrolling through that monster of a message, right,
Yeah.
was just terrible, right? So I was like, okay, there has to be a better way to do this. And I was like, I don't have the operational capacity to go and buy a product that has a barcode scanner because I have no time to barcode in, out, in, out, in. Like, I only have like at that time 3 mechanics. I was like, they have no time to count stock and actually do the cars. Just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right. So what we did every day was just we had a long list and then we just like in our WhatsApp. Fast.
How many items in the WhatsApp message?
A lot. I think if you count total amount of items, probably got 1,000 items or something.
In a WhatsApp message?
Not one message, like across like different groups,
Oh,
different
wow, okay.
categories.
So the messages track the flow of goods.
Like different
Yeah.
Okay.
different things that you use or sold or
Yeah, you
or
like
remaining.
sold or like remaining or in
Right.
stock or like whatever,
Yeah.
right? So that was a
interesting to use
terrible
WhatsApp as
system.
an inventory management system.
No choice.
Yeah.
That is actually a lot of tire shops.
Really?
It's like majority of like the
Like not
small
even
shops.
a like Google spreadsheet or
No,
anything.
none of the uncles can read the Google spreadsheet. They don't even know what Excel like the shared drive thing is.
cannot.
No, it's interesting how
Yeah.
you brought technology to your folks that you're working with
Yeah.
rather than forcing them to change how they worked.
Yeah. So okay, so this is my key point actually about AI.
Okay.
You cannot sell AI as a tool. You must sell AI as a value. You would never say that I want you to use this AI tool. You say I want you to use this thing that makes your life better. That's literally like how you get people to use AI. Because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of enterprises, businesses have asked me, Cordi, how did you get your people on board?
Yeah.
Like we've been trying to get them to use AI, but we can't. And I'm like, yeah, because they don't see the value,
Yeah,
I guess. That's why. So how we did it, right, was that we made this inventory system. And what I embedded into this inventory system was like a camera option. So I guess it's fancy words, machine vision, where they just take a photo of the tire and it would automatically log like all its details. And all my staff needs to do is take the photo, look through the thing, and then just click save. So like his previous workflow would have been to like key in every single letter one by one, standing in that very hot storeroom with not very good ventilation and just sweating it out for like 3 hours. Now he can do it so much faster.
So what does it do again?
Oh,
This-
it logs
yeah.
inventory, like the
Oh,
tires
logs
that we
inventory,
have.
okay.
Yeah, inventory like system.
How do you build it? Like you sat in front of Cloud Code one day and
I
you're
just
like,
sat in front of clock.
did you say what you just told us? Like I want a system where I can take a picture and
Yeah.
blah blah
I
blah.
said I want a camera scanner
Okay.
of that can read my tires if I
Okay.
take a photo.
Yeah, but I know this took a few nights or like
No,
probably
it took 1 day.
Oh, took 1 day. Okay.
Like okay, so like I've actually demoed
When was this?
Oh, this was very early, like January, February, I think.
Yeah.
This year.
This year.
Okay, so yeah, this year Opus 4.7. Or
I think
something.
I think that time was
6 maybe.
Sonnet.
4.6.
Was
Sonnet
still
only.
Sonnet.
So
Yeah, I
Sonnet.
think
Oh, wow,
Opus
okay.
just
No, because
came out.
I think you took some time to get the max as well, right?
Ah, yeah.
Also, you were not even on the max plan. You were just
No, I very fast converted.
Okay.
I very fast converted.
Okay, yeah.
Pro plan was not enough at all.
Yeah, very very interesting. You brought the tech to them instead of asking them
And they
to
liked
go to the
it.
tech. Yeah.
It saved them time, it saved them man hours, it saved them a lot of sweating.
Yeah.
So of course they would be like, this is great, right?
yeah.
And not only that, so I was like, okay, so now we fixed like inventory problem.
Okay.
How do we like take that one step further? Because you know, like I suddenly became like a builder. I was like fascinated by everything, right? So I literally just went down the feature rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
I
Which
want to
is
add this. I want to add that.
yeah,
This
I
looks
add
cool.
this,
Yeah.
I add that. Like wow, I'm like free. I can do whatever I want, right? So I added a couple other things, right? So like for used tires, so we do sell a little bit of used tires,
okay.
and it was very hard for my staff to decide, okay, well, how much to sell the things. So I literally just made like a legend of the thing, and then the moment you take a photo and you click save, it automatically just calculates. So they never had to ask me on like cost pricing or like selling price ever again after that. Like that
So
just
you take a picture and it tells you the price
yeah,
based on.
based on like the preset values.
Would there be
wow.
mistakes or
Very rare.
very rare?
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Like, well, actually, maybe just to satisfy my curiosity,
Yeah.
what are the criteria for quoting a tire?
So I'm guessing there's some prompt engineering behind
like
this.
how does it
where
work? You know, behind.
Not even prompt engineering. It was
Okay.
really just a legend.
just
'cause,
out of the
like,
box.
Also, it's a ledger of like or which brand.
Yeah,
what's the
like
size.
what is correct.
So then you already have a base price.
How old
for
is
that.
it?
Correct.
So you take a picture, you kind of already can
Yeah,
categorize.
you already
it.
know.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. categorize.
And the pricing was
okay.
as what you expected, as what you would not typically.
I mean, I
price
set it lah, right?
I mean, it's just a
like,
table, ma.
It's just
so
a table.
It's just a lookup, right? Like,
Okay,
oh,
yeah.
BYD, this type, this.
Oh, okay. There's
it's a
already
lookup.
there's
It's
already a
literally
lookup.
a
Okay, so basically you built the integrated inventory management system.
Yeah.
And then you built this like price checker.
Yeah.
But this price checker is super fast. Basically, you don't have
Super
to you don't have to open a Google Sheets. look through, find the price.
Or you don't have to ask, right?
Yeah.
It's
How do you manage the cost of maintaining all this though? Because like do you use a
It was like
AI model?
negligible. There was like
Okay.
almost very little cost. So what you needed, I literally just followed Claude's recommendation.
Yeah.
First time doing this, right, was just Vercel,
Okay.
Super Base, and then just Anthropic API. Like,
Okay.
that's
so
it.
$20 for the super base.
Yeah.
And then Anthropic API you use like probably a Haiku or like a cheaper.
Yeah, like it was
Okay.
really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually continued down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
So I thought like, okay, sales like this estimated price checker is not
Yeah.
enough. What I did was, okay, another structural problem with the tire industry is that tires are like durians. Okay, pricing is seasonal. Because depending on which container the tires came in from, which year the tires are, the pricing fluctuates actually quite a lot.
Why is it because the tires last longer if they come from a particular container?
No,
Or
so like it
yeah.
depends on country of origin. You can have same tire but different
Oh,
country
they
of
make
origin.
the manufacturing country
Manufacturing
is different.
country is different.
So the quality is different.
And the prices of rubber at different times also fluctuate.
Right.
And
Okay,
then
makes
like
sense.
just freight cost and everything, right? So tire pricing would change every 1 to 2 weeks. So even if a supplier told me like, because I'm not an importer myself, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just a dealer,
Yep.
right? So the cost of it would keep changing, and every single time we quoted a customer, can you imagine we have 200 inquiries a day, and for those 200 inquiries we have to ask every single time. Because tire industry is quite traditional. You call the uncle, you text him, rather than he doesn't have like a system for you to go in. A few of the bigger ones have, but most of the cheaper, smaller suppliers do not have it, right? And that wasted so much time. Every time we wanted to get a quotation for a customer, first of all, we couldn't get the quotation immediately. You have to wait for the uncle to finish drinking his kopi, then he will reply you 20 minutes later. So that took a lot of time. Then the other thing is that is either that you just call him, right? And that was very, very frustrating for both us and our customers because they have to keep waiting, right? So what we decided to do instead was that we have a code lock system because the pricing of tires fluctuate, but not day to day, right? But we can't remember like what we asked on the phone, on like the whatever, right?
So you just log.
Yeah, so you
To
log
this price,
it.
yeah.
Every time something happened, right, you would log it. And once you log it, so it was a copy paste kind of thing, so it's like really convenient. And then like they would just pass it for me into like actual like structured
Into a
data.
table, yeah, okay.
Right. Then so it was a copy paste into my system. It will show me like, hey, what price was last quoted by who at what quantity. And then after that, there would be another one called like the sales helper. So the sales helper, when you type in a tire size, it will show you what has been logged recently. You can use the same quotation if it has been quoted within the last 5 days, so you don't have to ask again. And not only that, it will also show you the current stock that we have in that size. So what my customer service girl can now do is she can just tick the options that she wants, fill in the customer's name, and then there will be an automatically generated WhatsApp message for her to copy and paste. So copy and
So
paste into
tips for SMEs.
Yeah.
Copy paste is good, yeah.
The copy paste is good enough.
Great.
Good enough.
Yeah. Just curious what, other than these 2 projects or even more, like what were the few that didn't
The
really
failures?
stick? Yeah, or like what were some struggles, or like what didn't stick?
So the failure, right, surprisingly, so everybody says use AI for marketing, okay?
Yeah.
My failure was the marketing system. So
Ironic, right?
ironic, right? So
In what way, yeah?
okay, so the issue with it, right, is that the AI doesn't know what a good hook is. It can convincingly tell you that it's a hook, but whether it's actually a hook or not, 9 out of 10 times it gets it wrong. Like, I mean, I think I've created enough videos to have a bit of like a virality radar. Like I can kind of smell it, right, when I see it. And now 10 times on the thing, it's just not it. In fact, at one point it was 10 out of 10 times, it was just wrong, right? So I made the like content generator create 10 ideas for me on a daily basis, and then I would be able to drag and drop and like whether I think it's like feasible or not, right? And after a certain period of time, I felt like the ideas were just not up to scratch. I thought that some of them were decent concepts, but it would not be very entertaining, I think. I tried to train it to be a little bit smarter in the way that it did it. But these ideas were just very like, everyone does it. There's nothing special about these ideas. Like none of these ideas would have been 1 million views. Like there's no way, right? Like it was just not interesting. It was just no way. The hooks were terrible. It's just like, show a tire. It's a hook. Huh? Yeah, right. Like it's just very basic level kind of thinking. But like yeah, so the content system, what happened was that one, they kept generating ideas that were really just they were okay, but they would have never been your 1 mil viral view ideas. Never. Like I very rarely saw an idea, like maybe there was like 1 out of like 200 or something like that. But even then, the scripting of it, like how they structured that story, it was still not strong enough. Just not strong enough. I think maybe if we get to a point where the AI can really just download the entire, let's say like TikTok repository of everything and like video analyze every single video, we could get there, because then you know how to like engineer that virality. We could get there. But at the moment, with how the current models are trained, it's just not there yet.
No, I think it's a mix of like novelty and also like so originality, and then also like explaining the thought process. So I think if you feed it all your videos, I still don't think it would. I mean, it might be able to extract principles, but I think you still need to tell it like exactly why you love that. But I'm still cracking it as well.
My biggest struggle is AI content.
Yeah.
Right, ideas are so terrible.
You can sniff
The
it.
ideas are
that
terrible.
I will not use it anywhere.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're lazy and you just like do generate content, then well.
But why even bother if you're
Exactly
lazy
right,
and doing generic
yeah.
content you should not be posting? Like,
Because I mean, for some people, they want to stuff keywords, ma.
but like stuff keywords also, there's no value, ma. In the end, it's like just like you are doing once again a half-ass job for a half-ass result, which I think is like what's the point? Then,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like a maxi. I'm like either all in or nothing.
Hey, we are
Like,
very similar.
yeah, it's all in or nothing. Right? So, I mean, but that's just me, right? That's just me. I mean, sometimes some people don't have the luxury of being able to go all in or nothing, so they have to do it as a side project, right? So that one really just no choice, lor. But I do think that the content side is extremely difficult to do with AI. I'll give you a quick example, right? Is that when I was struggling at Pitstop, where I couldn't pay rent the next day, it was like 20K, right? And I was like, I got like, 2K in the bank or some shit. Like, it was terrible, right? I was like, what am I gonna do to like get 20K tomorrow? And like, I went to type onto ChatGPT. I was like, what is the fastest way I can get 20K tomorrow? And
Legally.
Yes, legally, right? Actually, it won't like suggest you like
No, like,
illegal
it
things
won't,
anyway.
yeah.
So it gave me a list of things that sounded plausible, but also not very smart.
What do you do in the end to get that 20K?
So okay, after going through all the ideas and they were all a bit structurally like, okay, if you actually do it, it might be a problem.
Yeah.
I decided to, of course, do a TikTok video like being me,
okay.
right? But so what I did, right, was quite crazy. Like the content that I did was I suddenly had this idea.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a bunch of like used rims, right? And they're like original rims that I was planning to like scrap off. But like the scrap rate is usually quite bad. Like it's between like maybe $1.50 all the way to $2 or $2.50 per kilo. And I was like, you know what, maybe people want this thing. So I went to the Ang Mo Kio wet market, right? I asked the auntie to give me a pomfret. I like to eat a pomfret. So
Yeah.
anyways, after that I can eat it.
Yeah.
Right? So I bought a pomfret. And then I think I bought a bag of like clams.
Yeah.
Then I say like, this is $24 per kilo.
Yeah.
Then the next frame was, my rims are $4 per kilo. So isn't it a great deal? We're having this offer, right? And then I think the video did like 100K views or something.
Wow.
Like, that. Like overnight, right? And
Yeah.
and we got so much business after that. I was fine. I like paid off the 20K. Like, it was
Wow.
fine.
In one day.
One day, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
like-
lot of rims to sell though.
Yeah.
$4
so,
per kilo.
No, so we took
Yeah.
deposits. So people could like limited stock. Like, if you like, I take photo. Then I collect money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
And that's something that AI cannot teach you. That's why
Yeah.
people tell you like, I'm scared that AI will replace me or replace my job or
Yeah.
replace my brain, right?
Yeah.
Not so fast lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
And-
maybe one day.
Maybe one day lah,
Yeah.
but at the moment, not yet lah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, the AI can tell you what to do. Whether you execute it well is a different problem. lah.
Correct.
So like now AI, I mean, at least we don't have robots in the physical world yet. I think
Yeah.
we will eventually have them.
Yeah.
But even if AI told you all this stuff, your value is that you actually had to go and do it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like it's like, have you seen those like meme TikToks where like my boss told me AI will replace me, but where is it? Then they are mopping the floor.
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, then like where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's still not coming to
Yeah,
the
still
real
not
world.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think it is scary, and I think maybe we can move a bit into what you're doing with Petani
Yeah,
Yep.
sure,
AI
sure.
and like what you hope to achieve with it. Yeah, tell us more about what you're doing there.
Sure.
Here, yeah.
Okay. So Petani came out of a interesting idea that we wanted to see more AI around Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
We were like, this is like a super cool thing, and I was
But
like,
why Southeast Asia? What do you all notice?
Literally, because one, I'm Singaporean. Literally that. And that we thought that Southeast Asia would be an interesting space to look at. Because I mean, the US side is super far ahead, right? And honest thing is that I think China is very scary in terms of a competition landscape. Because I used to work there for 1 year. I lived in Shanghai for a year. So in Singapore, if you launch something, maybe it'll take you like 6 months to a year for a competitor to pop up. In China, the moment you launch something with your competitor 2 days later, right? So you have to really desperately stay alive. And I was like, I don't even really know what Petani's USP is now. If I go to China, I'll be eaten alive, right? So it's more like okay, first of all, I'm Singaporean, I'll do something here, right? Because that's what I like. And I was thinking that Southeast Asia would be very interesting because I think that AI has the potential to uplift a lot of people. This is basically our .com moment. You know what I mean? This is the moment where everything changes and the opportunities just change everywhere. So I was like, if we're able to do something with AI and like literally like uplift like maybe 10 million people out of poverty, that would be super cool. Not even poverty, right? Just to make their lives so much better.
Like micro
Like
SMEs.
micro SMEs, like micro like one-man company now.
Yeah.
Right? So like that would be super, super cool. So that we came in with like that kind of thinking. And I think for Petani at first, we were really trying to figure out how we could help the ecosystem. Like, I came in like completely blind, right? I've been in a tyre shop for 5 years, literally in my shell, right? And then I was like, okay, what would actually bring value to the community? Then as I continued going for events, I continued hosting, right? So I hosted a couple of like 200, 300 man hackathons. I had mixers full of like senior level, like 100, 200 people. Just spoke to a lot of people. And I realized that the gap between like the developer world and the research world of AI versus the actual people who are using it in their day-to-day life and the people who are scared to use it is really, really big. So a lot of people are currently focusing on the 1 to 5, right? If you take as maybe a developer as a level 3 or like and a PhD researcher at level 10, right? Everybody is like kind of focusing on like even like 1 to 5 or like 2 to 5 or even 6 to 10. But it seems that the 0 to 1 people are kind of being left behind. And not only that, the 0 to 1 people are being scammed. They're being scammed everywhere. Have you seen those like TikTok live stream courses where you go like $30, they teach you how to use AI and it's like nonsense and they try to sell you something after? Or like people charging like hundreds or thousands of dollars to just set up OpenClaw, which is, I think, so predatory. Like so now, like even when I came in and I started Petani, right, and when I said like, oh, I'm doing these things like, for like how do you say? I'm just doing these things to like help the community first while we figure out what our USP is. People have actually said like, so what's in it for you? Like, what are the
What are you
strings
doing
that
this for?
yeah,
Right?
like,
Yeah.
well, like people are super cynical now, right? And it's
Are you
because-
selling me a skills future course after
are you
this?
selling me something after this? And I just thought, I was like, oh no, like what happened? Like everyone gonna scam until very scared, no? Like very cynical after that. Then I was like, okay, I see there's a gap here, that there's a lot of scammy people in this space right now. Like, cause it's like a craze.
This is
the
normal,
hype,
lah.
right?
I mean, crypto also the same.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's,
yeah. So if anything was
human
big
nature,
hype.
right? Yeah.
Right. Then I was like, okay. So I realized, okay, so now my unique point is that I can do a lot of content, right? So I know how to do viral content.
Yeah.
I kind of understand AI a little bit. What if I just help out? Or like, what if I learn together? I wouldn't say help out because I'm also learning myself, right? What if everyone in that 0 to 1 space gets a platform to learn together from short form viral content? Because then it becomes easier to understand. Like, I don't need to go into a 30-minute entropic lecture with you, but you just immediately see the value of that. So short form viral content is one of our, like short form viral content for people who are AI curious. So home for the AI curious, that's one of our plans. The second one is to really feature, so kind of something like what Code Riff is doing, right?
Yeah.
Feature people who are actually doing things with AI.
Yeah.
Because what I realized is after being for so many events and literally meeting like at this point maybe thousands of people in the past like 2 months, I realized that everyone's building something, but for what, I don't know. Like everyone's building something. So like I realized that people build something to often resume pad or like just to say that they've done something, but actually don't plan to launch it
So true,
or don't plan to use it even.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to feature like actual stories. I think there was this like girl on TikTok like selling shokupan or something like that. And she was like, Claude changed my life. Like it's so easy for me. like measure how much like I don't know like the grammage or blah 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 blah. It's so easy now blah blah blah. And I was like, that's the kind of people I want to feature. You know what I mean? Like how do you use like AI in like your daily kind of thing, right? So that's the kind of spotlight I want to give and make people feel like it's not so bad. And then the last one, which people are like pretty interested in, is the MrBeast-style content, right? How do you get attention? So how can I be an attention company in that sense if I can't get attention myself? So that is kind of more like large scale, like spectacles, kind of like fun events, right? I mean, of course, we have like bar mixers and that kind of thing. But we are also running like hacker houses. So we like rent out like luxury mansions and then get people to come in and do something around AI. But I am very clear on the fact that these luxury mansion hacker houses, right? So in SF, there's a format of like hacker houses where people go in and build. I'm very focused on the fact that no building, you are not allowed to build my house. What you're supposed to be doing is your go-to-market house. So meaning that in my house, you already have a product. What you want to do is get that first dollar, get that first user, get those views. In an age where AI has made building cheap in that sense, what is the next mode? The mode is attention. The mode is trust, is distribution. And I think that's my thesis. My thesis is that attention is going to become the new currency of AI, which is why I'm doing Petani.
It's really good that you are doing this not just with a motivation to like quickly figure things
Because
out.
actually she doesn't even know how to much charge money for this.
I have no idea. Like, the honest truth is, we have no idea, right?
But it's okay, we will figure it out along the way.
I think so much is, I mean, things might change, like in terms of what works and all that. So it's always good to like stay open as well.
I mean, I think my whole thesis on attention is the new currency, especially with how OpenAI just bought TBPN, right? That really like solidified like my thinking and like people just coming up with like founder-led content, like all these agencies around. I mean, I definitely do not want to be an agency. Let's just make that clear. But I think because of that, that really like solidified my belief that this is going to be the game changer. I don't know how, but try first lah.
I mean, you did really well in Pitstop, right? And now you are doing something new. Like, what did it take for you to step away from all that as well? I mean, I'm guessing you could have continued doing pretty well in Pitstop as well. Or like, it would be quite predictable. But now it's like kind of a different thing, right? Like, what did it take off you actually when you're deciding to do this?
The honest truth was, I decided to move on also because even though Pitstop was great, it also held like a lot of unhappy memories for me, I think. Like the whole struggle of like literally not having any money to eat, like to like being scolded and berated and looked down on customers every day. I mean, there were cases of like stalking, harassment as well, right? But on that side, I was a bit like, okay, kind of like singly, you know, like a bit tired of it. And even though it was something that I really enjoyed as well, so I still had that passion, right? I still do like tires. So if you talk to me like 8 hours about tires, I'm happy to talk about it, right? I love it. I mean, like one of my dreams at that time was like literally to go like racing in like Sabang, but I had no time to do it, right? So that's that. But so even though it was something that I'm very familiar with, I think I also saw a lot of issues with how the cost structure worked in Singapore. So I felt like even if I could do it, was I really like willing to make this into a big economies of scale like kind of like thing? What I enjoyed the most in Pitstop was actually helping people understand things. I loved it when I saw like, you know, that click right there in that. I was like, oh, actually, okay, so that's the thing. And this is the best thing for me. And I think I enjoyed that. And what I didn't also enjoy is like, how to say, like, you know, I felt bad for collecting money in Pitstop. Like when I like sold things to people, right? I was like, oh, if I make like let's say $30, right, it's just enough for me, but it's a bit tight lah. But then I don't want to overcharge the guy. Like if I charge $50, like I feel really bad. So I had to get over that whole concept of collecting money. Right?
Yeah,
so,
socialist.
No, I just like and my friends would be like, Cordi, it's a service. I'm like, but
exactly.
like I don't know, like, you know.
Go charge a margin, man.
So like I kind of like set myself up for failure in that sense, right? Because I kept undercharging people, so I felt really bad. Like long term, I just knew that kind of thing would just not be for me, I think. And then it was partially also FOMO, right? I mean, coming from a VC background and like going into a traditional industry and then not knowing where the future holds for that business because it's up and down, right? And you're like, wow, now I'm 30. Like, the honest truth is FOMO. What if I miss this trend and I become useless for the rest of my life? Like, what if I miss this boat? Like, this might be like my last chance. So I think that's quite...
30 is too young. No,
I don't know, but
a chance.
You know what I mean? Like, because people now, I mean, like with all the retrenchments going around, and like basically now the economy is very unstable. Like the world is very messy, right? And you're like, okay, where's the place in the world for me? So I think maybe a lot of Singaporeans or elsewhere will resonate with this, right? It's like, how do you make the best choice for yourself so that you know that your own future is secure? And to me, it was like, okay, I definitely cannot miss out on this AI trend. And because I know that I like helping people, this is like the perfect thing to do. So like I get to do what I want. It's in an industry that's new. I was like, why not? And it was difficult, right? It was definitely difficult. I mean, like completely, I sound like an idiot in most of the events that I go for, I think. I mean, I've tried to get better, right? Or maybe it's just my imposter syndrome speaking, I don't know. But that's what I've done so far, and I think all we need to do is just keep trying, right?
No, but it's great to see you trying to like uplift people who don't understand and help them make it click as well. So that's really nice. And wish you all the best for that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so Cordi, are you ready for our quick fire round?
I kind of forgot the questions, but I'll try.
What are 2 to 3 books that you often recommend, if any?
Almanac of Naval, that one like changed my life, right? Then the second one is the handbook for atomic habits. So not the atomic habits itself, but the handbook where you actually do it.
Oh, wow, interesting.
The how instead of the why.
Okay, what's a piece of content or a thing that you enjoy like consuming?
League of Legends. I have been playing that game for like 10 years.
Okay.
Wow, I'll see you in the competitions. Okay, a place in Singapore that's special to you? Can be food or to chill.
East Coast Park, because I go camping there.
Oh, wow.
Camping. How often do you camp?
I would set up the tent like every other week, and I just like cook stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And just sit there.
In nature.
That's so cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, need to get some tips from you. Okay, three more questions. A tool or product that you recently got excited about? Doesn't need to be tech, but it could be as well.
Claude Code, bro. My life.
We seriously should consider getting them to sponsor our podcast.
Code, bro.
Your life philosophy you often go back to?
Just try lah, anyways, won't die.
Okay.
I have something similar also. Mine is when people ask me, this one very urgent. I said, anybody die? Nobody die, right? Then it's okay. Not urgent.
All right, the last one. What's a piece of content or hook that you are very proud of making?
The fish.
Oh, okay.
The fish, the comfort.
The fish was my trophy.
All right. If you got here, just rewind back. If you missed that. All right. Oh, sorry. One last one. Where can people find or contact you, and how can they be helpful to you?
If you guys have a story that you want to tell, like in a video format, we'd love to tell your story for you.
All right.
Yeah, so like I had my tyre shop story.
Yeah.
You know, if you are like have a bakery, I love bread, right? But like anything like along those lines, and you're just using AI, I love to feature people.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for hosting us at Petani.
Yeah.
I mean, you are doing that right now. You're featuring us by featuring you.
Reverse.
Yeah.
Very
it's like
meta.
Inception.
Yeah.
And you're showing us how awesome your content is, thanks to Chef as well.
Yeah.
I mean, really good setup and
Thank you.
and really enjoyed, chatting with you guys. Yeah, and chatting with you, Cordi.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was so great. I yapped so much, we went overtime. Sorry.
To me, time is always a relative concept.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Code Riff podcast. We hope you learned and enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. If you'd like to support us, please consider subscribing, leaving a comment, like, or review on wherever you listen to your podcast. And we hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.